Welcome to Sticky Interviews. My name is Darren Smith and I'm the Chief Meaning Officer of MBM, Making Business Matter, the home of sticky learning. We are the soft skills training provider to retailers and manufacturers around the globe. The idea of these interviews is to bring to you the experts' inside knowledge of how you can be the very best version of you. Welcome to the show. Welcome to MBM and the home of sticky learning. My name's Darren Smith and we're here with Sadaf Tauqir. Is that right? Is that
Yep,
good?
Sadaf.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. The reason we're both smiling is I attempted to pronounce this lady's name earlier and I was embarrassed by how bad I was. But she did very well with my name, so thank you. She's been very kind.
It's absolutely okay. It's absolutely okay.
All right, welcome to the interview. So we're talking with you about growth mindset today. Now, we've got a bunch of questions which have been asked on Google that we're going to put to you. One of the reasons that I was particularly interested in interviewing you is because you are very famous on LinkedIn, or certainly it appears so. You put out a lot of videos and you share a lot of stuff. So I'm going to ask you to tell us a little bit about you before we get into any questions. What do we need to know about you?
Great. Thank you so much, Darren, for this opportunity. I'm equally excited to be here and share whatever my humble knowledge is with everybody out there. So I've been into corporate trainings and mentoring for the last 7-8 years, I would say. And before that, I've been an academician. So I've been teaching in university and colleges. And then I did some consultancy project for corporate sector. So I would say in a total nutshell, I've been in a corporate market for the last 15 years.
Okay, gotcha.
And 10 years back, we moved to Dubai and now I'm doing here my practices, my job, my consultancy project. Why I happen to be more available on LinkedIn is a thing called COVID.
It's affected us all. Very true.
Yeah, which kind of, impacted everybody in a different way.
Yes.
So that gave me that time and that space, everything that I've been planning to do for the last 3 years to put out content, to put content out there for people who are not well aware of what soft skills actually is. So that was the intention. It kind of worked very well. I wasn't expecting, honestly, because I thought people are all about jobs and sales.
Yep, on LinkedIn. Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's all about job, but I'm surprised that people are keen to learn, and the awareness that it has created somehow is, I feel, very progressive. So it means that people want to work on their foundation, and then how the building will be strong, right? The mindset, the interpersonal skills, they want to work on those, which is a very, very positive sign.
They do.
So yeah, this is how I ended up on LinkedIn,
All right, me too. We've done a lot of things in our business we never thought we'd get round to, but COVID in some ways has been positive, some small ways. All right, so I've been stalking you on LinkedIn a bit and I found out that you're an NLP practitioner of 15 years. Is that true? Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
You're part of a women's council in UAE. Is that true?
Not at the moment. I stopped my membership because we were not able to go anywhere. So there were few memberships which I've stopped for a bit,
Okay.
Fair. But yeah, I do plan to go back as soon as things are normal.
All right, and you're a member.
I've been part of a business group. I've been part of few business groups before, but not at the moment.
All right, and the Institute of is it Knowledge and Leadership in UAE? You're part of that, or has that been paused for now?
Well, okay. At the moment, that's not here as well because they kind of had to wind up their operation. So right now I'm working totally as a freelancer.
Okay. All right. Fair. All right.
Like COVID changed so many things. So this was part of the deal, I guess.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. And the other thing I wanted to pick up on was on LinkedIn, it said you had interviewed over 40 high profile people. Anyone we know?
No, I doubt. No, not here, but in Pakistan, because that was my big thesis, my educational thesis. So I interviewed vice chancellors, vice chancellors of top 5 universities in Pakistan, government official, It was actually a thesis on search committee, like how universities select vice chancellor.
Yep.
Pakistan introduced, after the World Bank report, Pakistan introduced a search committee system.
Okay. Okay.
And then it was part of that thing.
Okay, gotcha. All right, all right. Okay, so we're getting to know each other. We've had one conversation before. You've been very kind about my pronunciation, which is good. And now I'm going to ask you a bit. I'm going to try and find out all the goodies that are inside your head around growth mindset. So one of the first questions that comes up, and I'm just looking at my questions here from Google, is what is having a growth mindset? Now, I think I've got an idea, but what's your opinion?
Yeah, people, how they look at their talents and how they look at their potential,
Yep.
defines their mindset.
Talents and potential. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, if people think that, it's very hard to develop myself or my capabilities or my skills, it means that they have a fixed mindset.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard
And
of.
if people think that, talents can be enhanced, skills can be developed, I can do better than what I'm doing at the moment, means that they have growth mindset. So how they look towards the perspective of learning,
Yep.
is what defines their mindset.
Okay.
A lot work has been done from Carol Dweck. She has done a marvelous job on mindset. Like, her theories are addressed everywhere. So anyone looking for how to, and the whats and the whys of growth mindset should definitely visit her work.
Okay. All right. And you being an expert and very interested in this, do you look at someone and you can see quickly that they have a fixed or a growth mindset by how they act?
Okay, interesting thing about growth and fixed mindset is that we cannot label them as tags.
Okay.
Right? They're like waves, they come and go.
Oh.
Some days we are full of growth mindset, and some days we are experiencing fixed mindset. So it won't be justified to label that moment into something which can be fixed or cannot be fixed, right? So we would know when we are aware about this thing, how do we look at the challenges? How do we respond to feedbacks? How do we react to our mistakes? How do we look at effort, just as per se, defines our mindset. So someday maybe we feel that putting in effort is a lot of task today. I don't feel like doing it. It's fine. It's okay. Fair enough, right? That day, maybe at that moment, you're not feeling like it. But you have to be aware that when you will shift to the other side of the bridge or the road, where you can actually make a difference. So we cannot label this, but it's more of a contextual thing. It's more of a situation. It's more of a feeling, I would say, in my opinion.
Okay, well that makes sense. I mean, there are definitely some days I think I can rule the world, and other days I couldn't even put the cat out.
I know, right? Yeah. It's pretty much like you have said it so nicely that it's pretty much like exactly what you have said.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I
there are
definitely
days.
feel like that. Yeah. And I'm sure people watch me go, yep, some days I'm amazing. Other days, I got out of bed. Okay. All right. That makes
You know what I do on my bad days?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I think I really blame myself for wasting my time. Okay. Right? Like, for example, I could have done something, but I did something else. And it wasn't very productive. And I know what I did. Okay. Mm-hmm. I would make sure that I feel bad about that wasting time, that in the morning I'll be like, okay, I hate this emotional burden on myself. I know the only way that I'll be relaxed now is when I get this task done.
Yeah.
So just to change my internal feeling, I make sure that I turn the table so I can be comfortable again, because the thing that is bothering me is that unfinished task which was supposed to be done at a certain point of time, or it's here, or it's tomorrow, it's just happening, right? So I tell myself that I have to move on, and I whenever I waste my time, I feel bad on purpose, because I know this is what bad feeling will drive me to do that task.
Okay, gotcha. So there's a
And I
link.
think it will be different for everybody. I think it will be you have we as an individual, everybody needs to understand their inside drive,
Yeah, yes, of course.
like
Of
what
course.
will make them do things that they're supposed to do.
And I guess there's a link here, isn't there, between when we procrastinate. We must be procrastinating when we have that fixed mindset, whereas a growth mindset, we can tackle anything.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay, all right.
I think even going from that moment of fixed mindset to growth mindset might take a drive, which will be very internal. Let me tell you this thing.
Okay.
That will be some internal drive that will make that shift at any point of time. So we have to be, if we are aware of what's going inside us, we can manage our outside in a better way.
Fair, fair. Okay. All right. So growth mindset, how do you develop one?
Oh, that's very interesting. And that's doable. A good news is that it's doable. Bad news thing, it's hard to keep a track at times.
Okay. All right.
Because sometimes what happens is that, there is this lovely story that I heard few days back, and it goes like this, that there is an alcoholic father in a house, and he has two twin sons.
Okay. Yeah.
So both brothers living in the same house, twins, and that house has an alcoholic father, and both of them are given the same outer circumstances, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these researchers were kind of, did a study on them after they find out what's happening with them. After a few years, one son got at an amazing position with all the opportunities, with education and job and money and everything, and the other son became an alcoholic, same as his father.
Same as his dad. Okay. Yep. Gotcha.
Right? So the researchers asked them a question, that what made you be what you are right now? And both of them replied, it's because of my father. But one mindset was that,
Yep.
maybe this is how it's done, maybe this is the easy way, maybe this is, what will give me what I want. And the other mindset was, no, I don't want to be like this. I know I can do better. I want to change my situation. I want to be somebody else because I don't like this.
Right.
So same situation, how they look at that particular perspective is what changed their life, honestly.
It's a little bit like, I saw an image a while ago, it's probably on Facebook or somewhere, and it was two guys looking at a sign in the middle, and it was a 9, but the other guy saw it and it was a 6.
Yeah.
Okay, something similar.
True.
Okay, I like that story. I like that. Okay.
It's all about perspective. Their answers were amazing, that it's their father. Very truly said that it was their father.
Yeah.
But how were they looking at the thing?
Yeah. They chose to look at it.
It was their father who changed their life, but for both of them, it had a different meaning. So your question, how you can develop your growth mindset, continues from here. That number one, you have to be very well aware of what success looks for you, right?
Okay. Very aware of
In an ideal world, obviously a comfortable home, a comfortable life, a comfortable family life, traveling, food, shopping, having people around you. In an ideal world, maybe apparently this is what success looks like.
Okay.
And then if we go into deep spiritual level, then it comes from the peace within, right?
Okay. Yep.
So satisfaction will be different for everybody. Yep. For some people, going on adventurous trip might be a satisfaction. Being alone, living on mountains might be a success for them, So for everybody, it's different. Now your mind is a tool to achieve those tasks for you.
Yep.
Okay. Now, if you're in a growth mindset situation, your mind will function very differently. Somebody gives you a feedback, You ask for more
Okay.
clarity, right?
Yeah.
You don't take it personally. You take it as a learning opportunity. You ask, okay, tell me more. I'm interested to know how I can do this differently. How can I improve this? How can I change this? A person with fixed mindset will always take it personally and will not feel good about feedback.
That's good. I like that. So that's one of the key differentiators is how you receive feedback. Yeah, makes sense.
Yes.
Okay.
So at an individual level, you
Yeah.
can see that what happens inside you when somebody gives you a feedback. This
Well,
might be an internal question,
yeah,
people
yeah.
can ask themselves. Then when it comes to effort, a growth mindset will see effort as something interesting. They want to make their tomorrow better than today. So they will put an effort, and for them, that's the only way forward, right? And for fixed mindset, a person might say that effort, but effort, people do effort when they are not good at something.
Yeah.
So again, it's a domain of mindset which tells you how you are thinking about other things or how you're thinking about learning, And then how about mistakes?
Okay.
When a fixed mindset makes a mistake, they try to hide it.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. Of course.
They kind of get an association of label with it, that no, that's not me. As on the upper side, the growth mindset will again try to learn from this, that how can I make it better next time?
That makes
How
sense.
will I go about things when I do it next time? So for them, next is a big inspiration. They are not stopped in that point, whether you say call it a mistake, a challenge, or a feedback. They're not stuck in that moment. They are thinking ahead. They are talking about, okay, how can I do it better? So everybody, when I'm mentoring people, I clearly say them that, look, you don't have to prove anything to anybody. How you think is very personal to you. We have all the clues out there. We have all this information out there. Try to associate yourself with things which are out there and see if there is something that you would like to change.
Yep.
Because everybody knows the success formula, everybody knows how to go about things. Everybody knows what is leadership. Everybody knows how to communicate as per information out there. But yet again, if you're not admitting it, it's fine, but then yet again, look inside you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not meeting your life target, if you're not meeting your life goals, because whatsoever the reason is, you are the only one who suffers eventually at the end of the day.
Very true. Very true.
Whatever picture you're trying to portray, which is okay, which is fine, because we have to save our face at times as well because of social media and our peer pressure and colleagues, which is fine. There is no problem in that, but take some downtime just to evaluate, okay, somebody gave me feedback, how did I respond?
Okay. Okay.
Somebody asked me to put in effort for some project, what was my attitude? How did I go about it? Right? Because what we do unintentionally is that we are continuously fighting with the outside world.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Of course.
We have targets to meet, we have things to do, we have lists to complete, and we are so running after that, we kind of just forget what's happening inside, because those inside clues give us where to work from. I tell my corporate clients, no matter how many trainings you provide to your employees, if they don't realize it from inside, they are not making any changes. So that inside realization is part of training and mentoring, where they have to see that, okay, I got a clue about how I reacted at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would like to fix that. And this can be done in a very honorable, respectable, quiet way, and how they want to. With so much information out there, nobody has to go to, the schedule. They don't have to repeat an MBA for this, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This can be done only if they realize and if they know. what needs to be taken care of.
So we've got the fixed mindset, the growth mindset. Some of the differences we see is how people react to feedback, how they react to mistakes, how they approach learning. Okay, got it. All right. Okay. And when you're talking to people about growth mindset, what frustrations do they bring to you about? Do they say, "Oh, growth mindset's hard, I can't do it"? What do they say?
I think the first step which they find it difficult is acceptance.
Okay. All right.
Everybody will be very, very generic, I would say. People are scared to change when they don't know the outcomes.
Right. Okay.
It's intimidating, I would say, and rightly so. It is justified if, this fear of change, they're not comfortable. Because here I would again go to that thing which I keep on saying again and again about mind, that your mind is in a closed box, right?
Yeah.
The skull is a dark, deep place, right? Our mind is there. And the only information that our mind gets is from our eyes and from our ears, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what our mind keep on doing it gets other information from our experiences.
Okay.
So unfortunately, mind doesn't have a mind of its own.
I might have to wrap my mind around that later, but I think I get it. Okay.
Yeah, mind doesn't have mind of its own. It's based on our eyes, our ears, and our past.
Yeah.
Such a limited information, to process this wide world. So when people try to change at a certain age, they assume that they cannot change because they are done.
Yeah.
Whatever has to happen has happened. I cannot change my habits. I cannot change my lifestyle. I cannot change how I think. I cannot change.
Okay.
Okay, now, fortunately, because of these all studies and researchers working out there, they have identified that people can change whenever they want to. The concept is known as neuroplasticity.
Yes, I've heard of it.
Neuro means mind, and plasticity can change.
Yes, I've heard of that. Okay.
Right?
All right.
So researchers have,
Go on, tell us more about that, because I've heard of it, but I'm not sure I know what it is. I probably dismissed it as a bit sciencey.
Yeah. So whatever our mind has been telling us that, dude, you cannot change. It's been lying to us because the researchers have proved otherwise, right? Okay. Our mind is not comfortable when we don't know everything.
Right.
Which is fine, okay, which is fine. Mind is doing its job. We don't have to get very serious with how we are thinking. We need to do some things which we feel that are important for us. Okay. And the moment we are uncomfortable with them, there is a difference what we feel like and what is important. I hate going to gym, but I know it's important for me, right? But the moment I told myself and my mind that I hate gym, my mind will make sure that I don't go to gym. Well, it will make sure to collect all the evidences. Oh, Sadaf, your feet is hurting, oh, but this and but that. So I gave my mind a clue what I don't like, and my mind makes sure that it doesn't make me uncomfortable, because that's why it's there. It's to protect us,
Got it. All right. Okay. So how did you get around that? Yeah, go on.
So we have to be very aware that what is important and what we want to do. Both of them might not be at a same point sometimes.
Yeah.
So if we are afraid of change, yes, we are. It's obvious. It's intimidating because our mind, gets a bit shaken up. We have to realize that, and we have to be comfortable with that feeling. I'm feeling a bit uncomfortable because I'm trying a new thing, but I guess it's important, so let's give it a try. So having such internal dialogue, help us get through whatever barriers, whatever mental blocks we have, whatever emotional blocks we have. So for example, now I tell myself, if I want to do gym, I tell my mind that no, it's not for my kgs or my pounds. It's just so that, my body is in a running position for long. Like, it's good for my old age. I can eat maybe a few more carbs maybe if I go to exercise. So those happy moments, we have to tell our mind. If we tell, no, this is a problem, this is a problem, this is a problem, mind will just seal the deal. Mind will say, oh yes, that's a lot of problems, so you shouldn't be doing anything about it, right?
Fair. Okay.
So now, if we want to change our mind, we have to be first aware of the fact that we might get some uncomfortable feeling out of this. Because this is something new we haven't done, but yet again, we know that it's important that if we do it, it will benefit us, right? So keeping those benefits in mind, keeping that, why is it important? Why I should do that in mind, have an internal dialogue. Now, growth mindset, once when you are done with how you respond to feedback, how you respond to your mistakes, how do you respond to challenges, efforts, what's your belief, what's your focus? When you are aware of all these surroundings, you will inject small changes in your lifestyle.
Okay.
It will be a very slow and comfortable process. And we cannot change our mindset in days.
Okay, over time.
It will take few weeks. Ideally, I think 6 months, which worked for me. 6 months is a fair enough time to get used to of any new mental pattern, any new pattern you want to introduce, which is helping for us. The thing is that sometimes we are so comfortable with old patterns that the motivation not to change is not happiness anymore. We just fall back because we know the outcomes.
Because we're used to it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we know the outcomes.
Yeah.
We know the outcomes. Okay, last time we did this, so that happened. We did this and that happened. So this and that is kind of a comfortable feeling for our mind. That's why we fall back. And whatever new things we want to introduce doesn't work at times. So when it comes to mindset, first be very honest with yourself. Be very aware, how do you respond to change? Do you feel that your focus is on you want to get better, or your focus is that this is good enough, I cannot do more than this? Okay. So if your focus is that, yes, I want to do more and I can do more, this is where the magic starts.
All right. So let's take an example. There's probably some people watching that are thinking, yeah, I don't go to the gym, but I need to go to the gym. I've got a membership. It costs me £50 a month here in the UK. What do you advise them to do?
Okay, what worked for me, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I had this struggle. And plus, then I wear hijab also. So for a few weeks, for a few months, in fact, I was very comfortable. Oh, how will I manage this in gym? So few days when I go there, I try to convince myself that, no, I'm not, how will I exercise it like? But anyways, I got some sports hijab, I went there. I realized that whatever it was only mind-made.
Okay. All right.
My hijab and my exercise was not related at all.
So you made a first step. You just convinced yourself to make the first step?
Yeah, that was the first step. And then I'm like, okay, I challenged that mental block. Let's do some more, That was like, because, after now I know that our mind doesn't have mind of its own. I don't believe on my mind all the time. I try to experience it firsthand, and then I have my opinion. Okay, my mind was right or it wasn't right. So now I'm more open towards challenging my mind. So anyways, my mind was giving me these, excuses because I asked for it. Of course, I told my mind, I'm not happy with the gym idea. So my mind made sure that I don't go to gym. Anyways, I challenged my mind. I went there and I realized that was all made up. Okay. The next excuse came. It's very hot in summers now.
Yeah.
Here, okay. It's like around 40-45 degrees. It's very hot. Okay. Wow. Then we had COVID.
Yeah.
So gyms were closed anyways. Now, I was very happy that I don't have to go to gym, but internally there was something bothering me that, Sadaf, you can do better than this. You can do that. Blame, which I usually put myself into, it really works sometimes. I'm telling myself, Sadaf, you can do better. Find a solution. Okay. I found a 20 minutes workout at home.
Okay. Yep.
I'm like, okay, the purpose is exercise, right? The purpose is to move those muscles. The purpose is health. It can be gym, it can be home, it can be friends, it can be anything. So now I know my ultimate agenda. I'm trying to figure out ways how can I achieve them. It's COVID, I can't go. Then I started, for the first time in my life, I started this 20 minutes workout. And to tell you the truth, Darren, I think that was the best thing I did. Other than my LinkedIn video, that was the best thing I did, because it was very comfortable, you know, having any, but then I changed my mindset and I told my mind that the agenda is health, right? The agenda is health. It's not, I am not running any, you know, marathon or anything. The agenda is simple health, because I know that 30 minutes exercise is equally important for my mind as my food, is equally important for my emotional well-being as food. Because what happens is that I used to associate gym with losing weight and hard task.
Yeah.
As soon as I associated my gym to my emotional well-being and for my mental well-being and for a good time pass, it made more sense for me internally.
So you made a different connection about what it was about. Okay, yeah, I get that. I get it.
Exactly. And that could have only happened if I was open towards it, right? If I say efforts, I don't have to make efforts. Effort is for people who are not doing much. They put in effort. I wouldn't have, you know, found a solution for my problem, which used to be a big one, that how can I go to gym? It's so much task. It's so much work.
Yeah, so much effort. The other bit I like that you said a few minutes ago was something about don't believe everything your mind tells you. Yeah, okay.
We have suffered for ages, Darren. We have suffered for ages. And I wish we knew this at school, you know, that our mind is a very, very, is a very strong muscle in our body, but it needs continuous training. It needs continuous direction.
It does. It does.
Nobody can negate the importance of this muscle, this organ in our body. But the thing is that it needs direction. It needs training.
Yeah.
It has to break its circuits. You know, there are so many circuits going on. There has to be this trigger inside us, which then defines where our goals are, where we want to go, what do we do, what do we want to do in our life.
And some of those circuits aren't great. I get that.
I know.
And
what fires together wires together.
Someone once told me there are three types of conversation: you to others, others to you, you to you. And it was the third one that was the most important. It's what you tell yourself that was really important. Okay.
It is.
All right.
I would like to add something here, Darren. You know what happens when we talk about mindset, when we talk about beliefs, when we talk about the internal system that everybody has, which is very private and which is very valuable.
Yeah.
Everybody grows at a different pace.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So if a 20-year-old is looking at a 30-year-old and, you know, is finding it hard to relate to them, and they are putting themselves into a situation where they are not emotionally comfortable, I think that's not fair.
Okay. Yeah.
So we as a practitioners, we need to tell our juniors, I would say, that, you know, when you are in this process of self-discovery, do it at your own pace, but make sure that you are doing something about it.
Okay. So any improvement at whatever pace is better than no improvement.
Exactly. I cannot, like, when I was growing up, maybe around 25 years, 20s, or maybe even late 30s, I used to be so, you know, be inspired by how people are so emotionally composed, and how people are talking about stuff which makes more sense, and why I don't know about that. But then I realized that when I started to work on that, things became more clear. But the inspiration, yes, comes from somewhere, whatever we look out to. The homework needs to be done from inside. Yet again, there is no right or wrong in terms of your pace, in terms of your when you reach the finish line. There is actually no finish line.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. And just a slight aside question from the ones we talked about, meditation. Do you meditate? Do you believe in it? How's it fit?
Darren, I think I usually, when in my community, we are coming from a collectivism society, right? Our parents would interfere in our lives. Even we are parents on our own and we have big kids, college going maybe, but still our parents would interfere in our life. And we grow as a family. There are times when 2-3 families are living in the same house,
Okay. Yeah.
So you talk about Middle East, South Asia, all this part of the world is a very collectivism society.
Yeah.
Okay, so expectations are different. The how of life is totally different. I know that meditation has never been part of the deal because there is no peaceful time in the house.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Because there are so many people at times that people just find it difficult, and then they are like, okay, we find a peaceful time, might as well just be on the phone for some time, because the more HR says that 90% of our problems are because of people around us. So it's not HR, I think it's family, it's everywhere, that the more people we have, the complicated life gets.
Yeah.
The problem I won't say problem, it's just something, it's there.
Okay.
We cannot escape this, and I think we shouldn't, because I don't know how the other world would be like otherwise, because everybody's so conditioned this way. I would say that let's find something that works for us in this collectivism society.
Okay. Yep.
And the thing that worked for us, what worked for me, was that whenever I see how people behave, I would take lessons what I don't want to do, how I don't want to do things. Okay, so the more people I met, the more things I realized that this is not what I want to do. This is not how I want to process information. This is not how I want to react. This is not how I want to think. Okay, so that gave me a lot of what not to do. So I was just, just clearing my funnel. When it comes to meditation, I know that I cannot have that perfect yoga or meditation frame that I see on the TV or I see on the YouTube. Okay.
Yeah.
And maybe I might as well create my own.
Okay.
So what I did, yes, I do yoga, but I do it at night, and it's not like 30 minutes. I started with 1 or 2 minutes. Okay. But in those 1 or 2 minutes, whatever was happening around me in my house, I was kind of attending that as well. Because I know that I have to create my own space here. Okay. So now what happens that I do 10 minutes. Okay. 10 is my regular. I do it at night. I think what worked for me is that when I was doing it quietly, I asked my children to either do it with me or sit quietly and give me only 10 minutes. Now they are big enough to understand such things.
All right.
Okay. And I know that I've missed a lot of part not doing yoga and not doing any meditation because my circumstances didn't allow. And it's fine. But when I realized that I can do it, I started it. And that will be a big lesson which I would like to share, that if you couldn't do it at that time, it doesn't mean that you can never do it.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit of adjustment according to your situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we kind of, we have this perfect image in our mind of life, which maybe social media has created, or God knows where is it coming from. That perfect, a little bit of variation from that perfect is okay. And you can find your space once you are out there making sure that you want to do it. So now what happens that my daughter sits mind her business when I'm doing yoga, and my son, he's with me doing yoga. And whatever he's doing, it's very funny. But at least, I'm just in the process.
It's good. It's good. Okay. All right. I like that. And you're right.
I believe there is no perfect time for anything. We just create our own time.
The social media does give us this vision that everyone's got this wonderful life except us. But it's
exactly.
not. It's really not.
Yeah.
And even those people who seem to have money, if that's what people are chasing or that's their goal, I see most of those don't seem to be happy either. Most of them being
I
told,
know.
which
You're
is a
right.
shame.
You're right.
All
And
right.
then, Darren, I'm sure you must have seen that celebrities going for a suicide option,
Yeah.
being that famous, being that popular,
Yeah.
being that rich,
Yeah. Yeah.
from the outside, we can only imagine that they were in pain.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
money and fame can never fix things if we are not doing it from inside.
Yeah, agree. I said to my kids a little while ago, there's no way I'd want to be famous. I think it would be hell on earth.
I know.
They might
Yeah.
have the money if that's what we want, but the fame, oh no, 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 no. Okay, let's ask you some examples of things we can do on a daily basis that would help us. What I'm thinking about is there's lots of people out there who are probably thinking, yeah, I can see the growth mindset. I know what I've got to do. I've got to react better to feedback. I've got to learn from my mistakes, but it's hard. How do they remind themselves? What do they do that's small that they can just get going and try and keep coming back to a growth mindset? What can they do?
I would say that remembering how our children or anyone's children, they can even watch a video on how a child starts walk, can give us clue what is our natural being.
Yeah.
How many times a kid fall? How many times a kid gets hurt when they're trying to walk, but do they give up? No.
Okay.
That's our natural state. We want to do things, but then somebody from outside the world keeps on telling us that that's garbage. What are you doing? Oh, you can't do it. I have an easier way, Then we keep on taking that information that it becomes like we then get conditioned to that it's difficult and we don't want to do it, right?
Yeah.
So reflection is a very good idea that whenever you're in a situation, reflection and how you started, whatever you started in life, what was that feeling when you started initially? Say your college degree, your first job, your first marriage, your first kid, your first business deal. How was it like? So going back to that reference point in your life will make you do better this time also.
Okay.
Okay. So whenever you reflect, keep those moments with you, because in NLP, we do talk about these mental models, metaphors. So we are associated with feelings. So whatever our first struggle was, how we felt at that time, that is a good reference point for us. We reflect on that and we try to do things in a different way. So yes, it's difficult if we feel it's difficult,
Okay.
And then if you want to engage your mind into a new wiring, try something new.
Okay.
For everybody who ever wants to practice growth mindset, try something new. It can be anything, whatever you haven't done in your whole life. It can, like I didn't make videos before, but then I started, and now it's all about online thing, Anybody can start cooking. People can start sports, language, music, arts. If they haven't been around family, maybe they can start being around their family. If they haven't, played any puzzles, they can start that. Any new pattern they introduce to their mind will help them. Because mind is a muscle, like any other body part. To build our arm muscle, we pick up weights, right? What do we do for our mind muscle? We challenge our body to pick up weights so that we can, get these ideal bodies that we see out there. So same as for mind. Our mind is a muscle, and we need to give our mind a challenge in order to build those muscles. So whatever thing you feel, and I would recommend, if you feel, because we have this image problem many times. If anybody has this problem that what if I'm unable to finish it, whatever I start, don't tell it to anybody.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, you have private time for yourself in life. 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever, do something. And that time, and if you have any fear that what if I'm unable to finish, what if I don't get it right, don't keep it a secret, don't tell it to anybody.
It's interesting what you said there, particularly about the muscle and the mind. My son Jack, so Jack is 16, but he was a couple of years ago, obviously 14, and he's having a debate with his maths teacher about algebra. You know, it's boring, no one uses it, blah, blah, blah. And the maths teacher just couldn't get him to get it. And the rest of the class was similar to Jack, but Jack's got a big mouth. And the way the maths teacher got him to understand it is he said, I want you to see it as mental weightlifting.
Yeah,
because he's 14, he was a man and he wanted to build his muscles. That was it. Algebra was his thing. Wow.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Very rightly said. Very rightly said. So all these things that whenever we learn a new skill, it's for our mind weightlifting. Very rightly said.
I like. All right. Last couple of questions. I'm aware we're over our time. What is one thing you'd love people that are watching to know about growth mindset, fixed mindset? What's the thing that's burning? You think if you take away nothing else, take this.
I think how they look at learning.
Okay. All right.
I think this can give them a good clue. That how do they approach learning? What do they imagine when element of learning comes up? How do they respond? If they believe they don't have to learn anything, that here you go, that might be a first hit, a big hit on the belief that, you know, something needs to be fixed.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So we have a phrase, I think it's UK only, but I don't know. You can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Well, then we have neuro elasticity as well, right?
Yeah. And we sort of get to an age where we say, yeah, we've done all our learning, that's it. But what you're saying, it's very possible to keep going.
It is. Like, I'm not saying it just for the sake of it. You know, there are researchers. Neuroplasticity is a big area of research.
Yeah.
There are so many books. And I would say that, you know, we do learn things even when we are growing up. That technology, we were not born with technology. We were introduced to technology when we were teenagers, right?
Yeah.
People of my age circle can totally relate to this, that we were introduced to technology when we were teenagers, right? We were not born with it. We are teaching our parents, and they do get it to the extent that they can communicate to us.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So neuroplasticity, this can be one example, but I will add to it a little bit. Whatever my opinion is, that, you know, we learn whatever we are interested in.
Okay.
If we are not interested in something, then yes, the old dog option is still there.
Yes. And you're right.
But if you want, if you want to, like when I say want to, it means it's coming from inside.
Yeah.
If we want to do something, we will figure it out how to do it. And we all have, you know, if everybody asks a question themselves, you know, some spooky things that we did, otherwise we were not allowed to do, and we still did it because we want to do it. Yeah. And we still do it at times. Yeah. Whatever you want to do it, like you know what we do, we just kind of pick and choose. Wow. What is easy for us, what makes more sense, what excites us.
Yeah. And that's particularly true. I've trained some people over the years, and you see some learners that just think, no, I'm not going to learn anymore. I'm done with learning. I was like, okay, all right, that's cool. But then you give them, or let's say they grabbed a new iPhone, suddenly they've got this box, they're opening it, and they've learned the iPhone in 10 minutes. They're interested.
Yeah, exactly, because they're interested. So if you want to do something, you have to develop your interest in that.
Yes.
And that interest, where will it come to you? Ask yourself, how will I benefit from this?
Yeah.
How will it make my life different? How will I, you know, make things different for myself if I learn this one thing? How will it help me? Usually there is a clue that I tell. It's my internal metaphor, which I am happy to share if it can help something to somebody. Whenever I have free time, whenever, after my work, house, kids, everything, whenever I'm free, I ask myself what I would have been doing otherwise.
Okay.
What I've been doing otherwise, you know. You might end up watching TV. You might end up watching, scrolling your phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I want myself to learn, because there is an online course which I started because of, thanks to COVID again, you know, there is a University of Yale course which is free temporary because of this. So I thought it's a good opportunity, you know. Now doing an online course at this point of time is not easy.
Yep.
Because we think that we know everything and things are easy and they are happy the way they are. Everything is fine the way it is. But then I asked myself what I would be doing otherwise. If I'm not doing this course, then I would find typical answers that, okay, I will be watching TV, I will be creating content, I will be sorting out some client work or something. So I'm like, will I be excited after that? Answer will be not excited, maybe satisfied that you get the job done, but not excited. So what will excite me? I think going through that new online course on my own might excite me. So these are internal dialogues. So this is how we have to, you know, I wouldn't say push yourself because it won't help. Find reasons to be interested in whatever new you want to do.
I like that. That feels like a strap line for this this episode. Reasons to be interested. I like that. That's good.
Yeah, like purposely look for reasons, and because then your mind will be comfortable as well.
Reasons to be interested. Good. I'm just writing notes down here. That's why I keep looking down. Reasons to be interested. Okay. That's good. All right.
Because like I said, our mind is very happy when it's told that, you know, I don't want to do it. Mind just, it runs after that thing. I don't want to do it, and make sure that you don't do it.
And it feels as though the mind's very protective. You know, if we don't want to do it, if we don't want to step out of our comfort zone, it will find 100 reasons why not.
Yeah. And our mind is made to protect us. Its initial task is to protect us, because, you know, we have survived, like what we were when we came into this world. We were hunters, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So there was a danger of lion, bear, and everything. So that was the purpose of our mind, to survive that time. Our problem is that we are still stuck with that part of our mind. We have to move forward. We have to come here where all the observation and question answers and reflection happens.
It's true. It's still happening down here rather than here. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I like that. Okay. Thank you. Anything else you'd like to share with us before we close?
I would say that I want everybody to have a fair conversation with themselves. Okay. All the time. Right. Have a fair conversation with yourself and ask yourself, what are you doing and where do you want to go? And how will you make things better for yourself and other? What happens is that I'm, again, coming from an Asian background, experience in this region. I cannot recommend everybody that you will win the race when you're alone. We have to take people with us, and it's fine. They are here to tell us maybe what we shouldn't be doing.
Okay.
So you have family, you have friends. Yes, alone is also okay. But if you are in some way or the other, you have colleagues around you, you have friends around you, you have family around you, just be very mindful that your struggles or whatever you cannot manage inside comes out on them at a wrong time.
Yeah, true.
So just keep on working, you know, that internal fixation, this intrapersonal skills, how we reflect, how we talk to ourselves is very important. So that job is your job. Alone and alone, nobody will help you in this journey.
The self-talk is so important. And I catch myself on days where the self-talk is just, oh, you wouldn't talk to your best friend like it.
I know, right? And I don't know why, but I wish that these things we could know in school.
Yes, yes.
At least growing up. I think that these things came to me very late, which anyways, still not too late, but I think things can change if we can tell, you know, people out there, like, you will be communicating to people. You have so many amazing things going on over there. So if we can just tell them that, you know, you have information. Now, problem is not information. Information problem is solved. Everything is available. Everything is out there. The question is, what are you doing about it?
Yeah.
What are you doing with it?
I'd much rather at school have not learnt algebra like Jack, but maybe learnt some soft skills instead.
Yeah, true, true. I think we might be starting something for, in fact, there is one of my friend, I might be doing few sessions for them, not sure, but they are offering as after school activity for college students.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Which I think is an amazing idea.
That's good. Okay. All right. Well, if you do get a link to that, we'll add it to the bottom of this video so people can click on it. We'll also add in your URL for LinkedIn so people can copy you, and any other pieces that you have we'll add in afterwards. All right.
That will be great.
Thank you. Sadaf Tauqir. I'll probably get 5 out of 10.
You got it right. You got it right.
Thank you.
That's the best I've heard, by the way. That's the best I've heard. Darren, in months, you know, in years, I would say.
You're too kind. You've just been nice to me because I've asked you a few questions.
No, I'm telling you, that's the best.
Thank you for sharing with us growth mindset. I've written a bunch of notes here, so I'm just going to come up with a couple of things that I've heard that were really interesting to me. The mental weightlifting, I really liked. The peace and the honesty around going to the gym and having a fair and honest conversation with yourself. The mind that protects us, which I see happening all the time. Self-talk, yep, you've talked about that a lot, and that makes real sense. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for the last hour. We'll publish this for people to see on YouTube. Please subscribe if you can, and we'd love to talk to you again. But for now, thank you very much.
Thank you, Darren. Thank you, everybody out there. Love yourself, be kind to everybody around you.
Thank you.